Thanks for coming on and doing this.
That's all right.
We're rolling now, right?
We're rolling, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do an intro for you, Gabby, because I want to give you proper sort of...
Am I going to be shown reacting to this intro, or should I just...
I don't know, actually. Do you cut... Do you ever
Depends
cut...
how you react. What are you planning on?
No, I don't know what I meant was, if I just go to sleep.
Okay, let's try it, and then if you do a really great reaction, it could just be on you for the whole intro. So let's see how it goes.
Hi, I'm Gabby Logan, and I'm delighted to say I'm going to be on the Romesh Ranganathan Show, taking a break from my job presenting Match of the Day.
It's the Romesh Ranganathan Show.
Oh, shut up, Romesh.
My guest today is a trailblazing, award-winning sports presenter, podcaster, writer, former rhythmic gymnast. Whether she is broadcasting from global sporting events like the Olympics, the Rugby World Cup, or interviewing athletes like me at the London Marathon, she is insightful, unflappable, and truly at the top of her game. Last summer, she became one of the first female hosts of the world's longest-running and most iconic football show, Match of the Day. It's Gabby Logan!
A very nice and factually, quite correct intro.
Quite correct.
Good. Well, sometimes people say things and you go,
Yeah, we've said things that are fundamentally wrong, actually, that we've been picked up on. Now, when we start, first of all, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast.
Thanks for having me. It's
You're
lovely.
broadcasting royalty.
Oh, stop it.
And you've come onto the podcast.
It's so lovely to be here.
It's amazing, thank you. I mean, it looks better on screen than it does in reality, doesn't it? You can be honest.
Well, knowing how these things kind of work, I think this actually looks pretty nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
And you don't mind the sort of povos being in here?
And you're in a lovely part of London.
Yes, absolutely.
Can I give away the city you're in?
Yeah. We're in London. We're in
Yeah,
London. We're in London. If any stalkers are watching, we're not going to give exact address. But we've got a gift for you.
Oh. That's a bit
We're
premature,
always very
isn't it?
worried about you seeing it in advance. We put a piece of A4 paper.
Is that
over.
what that is?
I didn't. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You didn't have time to wrap it. There is a paper chase just around the corner. I noticed. You could have done better, but...
So these are... These are...
I just see the words tired skin.
Look, it's not an aesthetic thing. It's more a relaxing kind of...
It's not that we think you're a wrinkly old...
No, not at all. They're eye globes.
Oh, ice globes.
Ice
globes. Oh, ice globes are very popular. I actually had some ice globes in the freezer, and I think either my son or daughter have nicked them. So
there you go.
So much.
They've actually been in the fridge if you'd like to...
They're very good for kind of, under here, aren't they?
Yeah.
And thank you.
I don't know.
They're cold. They're actually ready to use.
They're ready to use now. Did you say, I've met Gabby a few times, she's very stressed?
I didn't say that, but they could just tell from my general tone.
They've got multi-use kind of vibes about them, haven't
How do you
they?
mean?
I don't know, they look like they could be used for other stuff.
Yeah, like what?
I don't know, but we're going to... This...
Oh, nice.
I do this all the time when I'm trying clothes on, but I use an imaginary microphone now.
To test what you look like?
Yeah. So my husband, it drives him insane. I go, do you like this coat? And I stand there with an imaginary microphone because everything has to get warm for work first. Then it gets relegated to the normal wardrobe.
Yeah.
So now I've got my real microphone. He'll be like, what is that?
Oh, congratulations. That's cool.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you, can I put them down for a second?
You can put them down for as long as you like.
Okay, because if you're,
I'd like you to take
if
them
I'm
with
trying
you,
a new coat on, half the time I'm outdoors in the cold doing my job, and the coat might look good on the hanger, but then if you try broadcasting in it, it's a whole,
That's a really good point.
Be a bit tight,
I've never thought of that, and I'm like that a lot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes
you wear quite kind of, your clothes are very trendy, very kind of relaxed. You're indoors quite a lot, aren't you?
I am indoors quite a lot, actually. Yeah. I do associate a little bit with trauma, if you don't mind me saying. Because of the London Marathon.
Okay.
Because, obviously I did it for the first time a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I had a lovely interview with you. You're a consummate professional. You're one. Listen, you don't need me to tell you. Yeah, the best in the game. Oh, that's
right?
And doing the London Marathon is like it looks like a tough thing to do because there's all sorts of variables and all of that.
Everything pre-match, which is about an hour on air before the race goes off. I can tell you this year, maybe 2 of the items actually made it. Literally, the whole thing was ripped up and everything. The thing about sport I love is you never know what's going to happen. But that's usually once the sport has started.
Yeah.
Pre-match is the one thing we're in control of. And so pre-marathon normally. But this year, for some reason, the guests weren't arriving. New guests were coming in. So you think you've done all your homework and you've read all the biographies. And then suddenly somebody's in front of you you've never, researched before. So you have to kind of do it on the hoof. So, but I love that about it. And people like you, who are the non-professionals, shall we say, in the running world, those who are not going to be at the front, are my favourites, because on marathon day, it is about you guys. It's not really about the elites. We kind of cover that because it's important to do that, but it is all about.
I don't know what you think about this, but after we'd done our interview, and it was you were great. A lot of people were texting me saying you look very nervous. Not you. I looked very nervous. And then somebody from the London Marathon came to speak to me, one of the organisers, who's involved in the whole board of it, and said, we just wanted to say thank you for reinforcing the message that the London Marathon is for everybody. Now, obviously, he meant that in a nice way. But what he's saying is, when people see an animal like you having a go at it, it really does show people that literally anybody can do the London Marathon, which is not true. I was really struggling.
And you said you were retiring from it. I'm retiring from it. Is that definite? You're not going to do that kind of Steve Redgrave thing and go, shoot me if I ever get back in a boat?
No, I'm not. I'm out. I might do a marathon. I don't think I'm going to do the London Marathon again.
So you think if you went to Sydney, things would improve?
I just think
it's
a shame for Lisbon to miss out. That's all I'm saying. I'm getting a lot of international requests. Could you come and make our marathon look accessible to everybody? Now, I did your podcast, so I guess you feel indebted, and that's where you come into this one. Because let's be honest,
there is something of a quid pro quo.
Yeah,
kind of
your profile doesn't need this. That's let's be brutally honest. You've not gone on there going, finally, I've got to go on Rom's one. But I did your podcast, Midpoint, and I talked about my marriage and sort of my work schedule, putting it in jeopardy a little bit, and I had to sort of take a look at myself. And I don't know if you remember, you're aware, I don't know how much you look at the press take-up on things like this, but the one article that really took my eye was, it says, I'm just reading the headline now, Romesh Ranganathan says his comedy career nearly cost him his 15-year marriage, as he and his wife had to reignite their love for each other. Now, that's fine, I get that, they're trying to create a story and you need to what really shook me to my core were some of the comments on the article. Now, the Daily Mail, I don't know if it's a surprise to you, Gabby, the Daily Mail readership, not my biggest fan.
Right.
Okay. I think if you want to find an article on me, you can either search Romesh Ranganathan or Box Ticker. Both will come up with articles about me, right? So, Ben, could you read out some of a selection of comments off this article?
450 comments.
Yeah. Wow. Off this article. So congratulations. I imagine that led to a spike.
I just pulled out, I would say there was about 6 to 7 positive ones.
6 or 7?
Yeah,
I thought you
genuine.
I allowed myself to think you said 67 there.
No.
But go on. So read out some of them for us.
A lot of them are, what comedy career? This guy's about as funny as, and then insert awful thing. So burst piles.
Okay.
Burst pipes would be worse. I mean, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's a home disaster. Burst pile is a funny anecdote.
He always looks smelly.
Do I look smelly?
No.
Thank you.
No.
Do you get a lot of online stuff? Not online. But...
I try not to open the Pandora's box.
Yeah.
I've had my fingers burnt. Do you know what I mean? When you've kind of like looked at something, and then a long time ago actually, and thought, I don't really need to see. I've got people in my life that I respect and that would give me, feedback, honest feedback. Do I really, as one of my colleagues once said to me, do you want to listen to a keyboard warrior with his trousers around his ankles in a bed sit in Bradford with the curtains closed all day, eating his third pot noodle? And that's like... And that's how I kind of feel, I mean, I'd be so disappointed if it was, somebody who's like a leading KC, who's a human rights expert in some kind of chambers in London, wearing an Armani suit going, absolute pile of dribble. She should not be on Match of the Day. But I think, being a woman who presents sport at the very beginning, you can imagine the kinds of reactions that weren't even hidden in chat rooms, it was kind of the headlines from people who felt that sport was, a protected, sacrosanct domain that, women shouldn't be involved with.
I mean, I feel like you've got to the point where you have transcended that kind of potential criticism, because I don't want
It takes 30 years. If
but that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. It's like, I don't want our chat to all be about, women in sports broadcasting. But, the fact is that I imagine it would have been tough at the beginning. But now, by dint of the fact that you've done it so brilliantly for as long as you have, it feels like it'd be very difficult for somebody to sort of criticise you now. But it takes...
Yeah, and I still feel like I'm very much, I don't want to make a mistake,
Yeah.
And of course, sometimes you will get a stat or a fact slightly wrong. But I think you've earned, hopefully, a bit of currency that, you're not going to be taken down in a way that is unfair. Because guess what? Men presenting sport don't always get, everything completely right.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, and I think you have to earn respect in whatever you do, don't you, from your audience?
Yeah.
And you want them to trust you. And that was one of the things that my boss at ITV used to be really big on. He was one of my greatest kind of supporters, but he overtly kind of said to me, and this is back in the 90s, he told me not to take a show that ITV had offered me, an entertainment show, because he said they don't trust you yet. They've got to really trust you. And if you diversify too soon and do something that's not sport, they'll just think, they being the audience,
Yes.
they'll think that you're just looking for a
You're a celeb rather than a sports broadcaster.
Well, and it was good advice, really,
Yeah.
I think, because, I think it was a different landscape. I mean, now, obviously, it's very different to be a
I mean,
woman.
what you don't want to do is diversify early and then somebody makes a comment like, I don't know, I knew about TV career, but comedy, really? God forbid. But let's talk about match of the day.
Yeah.
This is what I imagine it feels like. I don't know how long it was on the cards for you, right? But you get offered it, you're elated, and then the reality kicks in of doing it. And then it sort of changes the emotion a bit. Is that how it went?
It came kind of quite a bit of which sounds a bit ridiculous, but it was a bit of a surprise because obviously behind the scenes they were working out the succession plan, and people didn't even know that it hadn't been announced about Gary, but obviously he knew and all that. So there was a lot of kind of keeping things secret squirrel, which I find quite hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then thinking about the practicalities of it. So until it was actually announced, which I think was March, I hadn't really thought about doing the job,
right?
Because it felt like an existential thing. And then, as you say, you go, "Oh my God, yeah, it's part of this." And then I think what happens is the conversation was so kind of amplified, and people had such strong opinions on it. And then you realise it really is an important programme to so many people, and that's why it's lasted the test of time. Because I think people thought when sport became, and football particularly, became so ubiquitous that Match of the Day would die a death, maybe 20, 30 years ago. And actually, it almost not only held its audience, under Gary it grew and became even more relevant. So I think that, shows just how important it is to people. And I'm very honoured to be, I sound like I'm PRing now, but I am very honoured.
Yeah. No, I believe that. I know you were told to say that, but it's still me. I still get it. But do you think that, because I sort of think about how my children consume football now, and they're obsessed with it. And obviously everybody's a pundit now, right? You sort of look online and there's, so many people on like TikTok and YouTube, and they're all giving their opinions and stuff like that. And then you do notice a difference in terms of, what I think is great about Match of the Day is it shows there's still a place for in-depth kind of football analysis, rather than, I feel like online you get a lot of kind of shock opinions because people want traction. Do you feel any level of competition on Match of the Day with that sort of rise?
Yeah, I think there's definitely, not so much personally, but I think there's definitely a feeling with around the show that there's an awareness that there are lots of people now who have platforms, and obviously we hope that our pundits are the most respected voices, and people still want to really hear what they have to say. But we do have to think about the digital offering as well.
Yeah.
And, that is something that has ramped up massively, and how we can clip up those things throughout the Saturday or the Sunday. We're not just waiting till 10:30 to give those opinions, because already online people are giving their opinions. And so we've got to make sure that our voices, not our voices, but our pundits' voices are heard. So when I first joined the BBC back in 2007, I used to fill in for Gary on Match of the Day. And it's a totally different experience now doing it because of the digital kind of, platforms that are going on around it. And obviously the podcasts that people are, putting out. And also, you can get the highlights at 8 o'clock now on iPlayer without any analysis. So you could just see. So you've got to be often giving people at 10:30 something to really come along for. So I think we're really thinking about that in advance of the Saturday. So I'm doing Match of the Day tomorrow, and already we're talking about potential stories and players that might feature, not knowing what they're going to do, but having the knowledge that there are certain things, that storylines that could.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I thought it was purely reactive. So you are thinking about what might happen going forward.
Just thinking about certain players who've maybe not been involved in the international break and why they haven't, and keeping an eye out for them, looking at things like the players who are injured in the top 2 teams at the moment, which one's going to make a bigger difference going forwards.
Do you ever watch what's being said? Because I feel like what's happening now is a lot of like people will they want traction online. So they'll just say something like, I don't know, let's just, because we've been talking about it, I think Odegaard's the worst player that's to set foot in the Premier League, right? And it gets traction. And then when you watch it, there's actually no supporting arguments. Yeah. Do Match of the Day feel any competition with that?
No, I don't think they would try and compete with that.
You wouldn't ever try and get a headline grabbing bit of...
Well, I think everybody wants that, don't they? Everybody wants, what they really want is clips that are going to have traction on. So a clip that went up for one of the shows that I did with Wayne Rooney, we put it was to do with Saka actually, and it was youngest to 100 goals maybe, or something like that. A combined goals and assists. And it was the first time I think there'd been a goal scoring statistic that didn't feature Alan Shearer on Match of the Day, and it actually had number 1 was Michael Owen, number 2 was Wayne Rooney, and Wayne Rooney, really kind of quick, didn't get prompted, said, just because there's this ongoing thing about him and Michael Owen. He said, just proves that Michael Owen's a better player than I am, and had this kind of wry smile on his face. And then that got clipped up. And so those kinds of things, that's natural. That just happens. Yeah. And I think so, of course, they want those kinds of things to get more traction, because everybody's looking at their digital footprint, aren't they? And the relevance of the show, and, giving that kind of value for money that the Match of the Day rights can spread beyond 10:30 at night. Yeah. But those things you can't rehearse those, and that's where I suppose I would see my role as the presenter is to make sure that we naturally get those kinds of conversations going that could, in your own mind, don't you? You're editing all the time, producing, thinking, oh, that would be quite a good clip. And
how difficult do you find it? Because it's finished now, but when I hosted League of Their Own, sometimes when you're hosting, you have got an edit in your head running, right? I find it very difficult to, when I've decided midway through what somebody's saying that this is probably not going to make the edit, I find it very difficult to keep an interested face after that, because you think, I'm just going to move this on.
Match of the Day is we are live. So when I'm taking clips out, obviously that's clips of a live show. So imagine me saying, nobody's interested. Nobody's interested. Yeah, but remember the bit you told me earlier? It was much more interesting. I know what you mean. And I go on other people's shows and think that, even when I saw you recently on Parents.
You were great on Parents Evening, by the way. Thank you so much.
Great in as much as Lois and I managed to win the money for charity. So that was good. But you sit there going, this bit not so much. This bit not,
Really?
Because you kind of know what is going to make the edit in the end, which is, of course, Lois would have no idea, as a 20-year-old who's never been on TV before. So I'd be thinking, she'd be saying something, I'm thinking, oh, be quiet. You're not helping anybody here, Lois.
How did she find it?
She really enjoyed it. She loved you, and she thought it was a great, it's a lovely show to do, because your audience is so great, aren't they? Your
nice,
live studio audience. And we had a lovely, that relationship, the fact that we were on coincidentally with somebody she went to school with.
I know.
Was just ridiculous as well.
Yeah.
It was good fun. It's a great show, actually. It's a really good idea.
That clip about the reverse cowgirl.
It was. See, that's one of those moments where I thought on the night, I know what this will end up being. I think they call it clickbait.
Yeah. No, it was great. Yeah, but Ben, you were absolutely you're rubbing your hands with glue.
She handled it really well.
She was very funny. Yeah,
she was very good.
So were you offered Match of the Day before you did it? Is that true? There's a rumour that you got it.
Oh, what do you mean back in the day?
Yeah.
Well, I was asked if I wanted to do Sundays, which used to be called Match of the Day 2, a long time ago. And at the time, Manchester, the Salford studios had just kind of happened. We just were kind of working between there and London. And my kids were really little at the time. And I just felt I didn't want to do every single weekend away from them. Right. So I was kind of very much like, this is not going to work for me right now in my life, I didn't feel. And it's one of those things you look back and kind of, I don't know. It felt like the right decision at the time. I felt.
It's quite a brave thing, I think, to turn down a career thing for your life, I guess. Do you know what I mean? And I don't mean it's brave personally, but what I mean is you had to work really hard to get to where you were at that stage, even whenever that happened. And then, you know, I sort of think about things where you've been offered something and you think this is going to take me away from home, and then I've gone and done it, and then part of me thought, why did I do? You know, in hindsight, you think, why did I do that?
I remember once crying on the phone to Kenny. I was in LA, in LAX airport. I was offered an advert which had to film. It was a UK TV ad, but it had to film in New Zealand because the director they really wanted to use was based in Auckland.
Yeah.
So I'd have to fly on a Sunday, land there on a Tuesday, fly home on the Thursday in time for work on the Saturday, right? And so it was this crazy schedule. And I got to LA and I was obviously absolutely exhausted. And I rang Kenny and went, why am I doing this? And he was like, he was in the middle of the night and he went, just get back on the plane and just go to sleep. What's wrong with you? But I think you do have those kinds of, when you're tired and working a lot, you think, have I made the right decision about this? Should I have, you know, and you've got to go with your gut, haven't you? Which gets easier to listen to, I think, as you get older. You get more in tune with it.
Well, I think as you get older, you sort of, you realise that, you know, I think your imposter syndrome is more crippling when you're younger, I think. I've still got imposter syndrome, but now I care less about being found out as an imposter, I think is a difference. You know, like you sort of think back when you're trying to work your way up and you're hustling and you're trying to get you just think, I've got to say yes. You know, I'll go anywhere. I'll do anything for any, you know, if this means that I'm pushing on or whatever. And then you sort of move out of that kind of mindset. And then you realise that.
And there are those people, aren't there, who seem to be very good at being quite rare. You know,
I wish I was rare, Gabby. It's too late for me now. I mean, it could be rare again, but then what happened is I've now got people just go, people don't like him anymore. I'd love to, you know, that's.
But I think that's the same any freelancer.
I guess so.
And effectively, that's what we all are, aren't we? I suppose. And we know that what we do, we love what we do, so we don't want to not do it. And who knows when it all finishes.
Yeah.
You know, I remember being at ITV when we had the Match of the Day rights. We called, you know, the Premiership rights. And remember the Premiership show that used to be on that Jeff Ryan presented? And we only had it for one round of rights. And I remember where I was when the head of sport rang me and said, we've lost the rights. But I was so young, I kind of went, oh, well. But I remember now, I look back now and think, gosh, they must have been devastated because obviously that was, for a lot of people, the end of the road for that job. So that experience, I suppose, is that, you know, you never know, do you, when something's going to go? No. And you must get used to things, not you personally, but we get used to things not being recommissioned. I don't mean you get used to things not being recommissioned.
No, listen, it's unbroken eye contact and you almost pointed at me. So.
But, you know, I've had my fair share of just one, you know, flock stars. I've had my fair share of... let's bring the elephant in the room right forwards because, you know, and you go, oh, it'd be great if that came back. Oh, it didn't come back, you know.
No.
And
the number, I mean, like, it's so funny the number of times I've been involved in a thing where people think it's 100% certain that this thing is going to run and run, and then you never see those people ever again. I did a show called It's Not Rocket Science with Rachel Riley and Ben Miller, and it was like a big thing on ITV. It was very exciting, and at the end, somebody on the show said, I think this is the start of something really amazing. We've made a really different type of show here. And I'm really excited to work with you all going forward. That's the last time I ever saw that.
It turns out it was a bit too different.
Yeah, it was really different.
Yeah.
It turns out we'd made a children's TV show for primetime ITV. It's what it turned out.
It did sound like that.
Yeah, I know. And then I remember like doing a pilot with Joe Lycett and Catherine Ryan. Got a standing ovation at the end of the pilot. We started talking about taking it to America. That's the last time we ever did that.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Yeah. I did a pilot that I did it in 3 different guises.
Yeah.
They kept coming back in different ways. It's never seen the light of day. And then, you know, the one Lee Mack, the 1% Club.
Yeah.
I think they were derivatives of it. Do you know what I mean?
I see.
I think that's what it eventually evolved into.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. But with those ones, I just became so sanguine about it. You know, you kind of go, oh well. And I think that's you can't take things too personally, can you? Going back to you reading out those lovely comments, I think it's.
No, I find those comments quite fun. I mean, I sort of enjoy sort of making people upset. You know, like when you sort of read those comments, you sort of go, that sounds like they're really angry. It's like fun. Do you know what I mean? I think it's very tricky to not take it personally, but I think you have to not take it personally.
Try not to, yeah.
Yeah. Live television.
Yes.
Do you like your demeanour is so unflappable and so relaxed to the point where I think in your future there's an undercover weed habit that hasn't been discovered yet.
You think I'm just having a quick smoke in the back of the
Or,
match?
no, not necessarily.
Like an exclusive.
Not necessarily. It might be edibles. You know, I don't know.
Oi, Wayne, have you got any gummies?
I believe it was Wayne.
Just sitting there going, that was a mad one, wasn't it? That game. When you were doing when you first started doing Match of the Day, and even just doing live telly in general, when you did the London Marathon, that seemed so highly stressed. We couldn't hear what each other was saying in reality. We were relying
The
on
hardest thing in live sport is hearing, because you've got these ears things, which are kind of the thing that pop stars, they're those kind of moldies, you know, so you're supposed to be able to block out all the other noise. But often, we were at Galatasaray, we did Galatasaray Liverpool in Istanbul a couple of weeks ago in the Champions League, and those fans are off the charts.
Yeah.
Right? And they, not only that, they pipe in extra aggressive noise into the stadium and drums and all sorts. And so when you're in that kind of noise, that cauldron, you do get used to it, but it is so hard sometimes to hear what people are saying. And, you know, that is one of the big challenges, because obviously with football, you want to hear what they're saying so you can respond to it. But I think the adrenaline comes from that environment, which I really love. And you don't want people at home thinking, you know, that you're out of control in those situations.
No.
You know, your job is to try and remain calm in those situations, unless it's something that's obviously, you know, when the Red Roses won the World Cup and they all invaded the desks pitch side, so the whole team brought the trophy and just jumped on and that kind of moment of sheer unbridled joy and, you know, madness, I kind of like all that as well.
If you're talking to sports people or ex-sports people, I don't want to generalise, but sometimes, you know, this is a bugbear of mine, is people having a go at footballers for not being eloquent or interesting or exciting. I just think it's an unfair expectation, because like nobody's asking Stephen Fry to bang in a top corner free kick. So why do we expect it the other way? It feels like such an unfair thing. So how difficult is it for you are you conscious of trying to elicit the best, most interesting responses?
I feel that's
from
my
people?
job, is to try and make them feel comfortable enough to be themselves, because most people, you know, when you first go in front of a TV camera, are going to feel a little bit self-conscious. And especially, I think footballers, especially those who are newly retired, think about what their fellow pros are saying. They remember what they felt like when somebody critiqued them. They don't want to, so they couch it in all this kind of, you know, language so they don't feel they're giving somebody personal criticism. So you want to make them understand that it's okay to give a critique without being, you know, kind of somebody ringing you up later on and why did you say that about me? So they're all conscious of that. But equally, I feel the best types of conversations, I said this to a colleague the other day, is almost like a podcast, you know, that kind of freedom that you have to go back and forth within the confines and discipline of live TV, having timings, right, you've got 6 minutes for this chat, you know, so you have to get these 3 runs of analysis in, and you want to get a little bit of their personality in as well. So, yeah, I think, I mean, it's early days on Match of the Day in terms of the new presenting lineup, but I think that's what we would all, I think, probably aim for, is that style.
How much is happening in your ear? Because I did,
A lot.
This is a lot lower scale, but I did Radio 2 in the Park, and then I had to host the iPlayer live broadcast. And we were interviewing the Stereophonics, and the whole time you've got somebody going, so you've got 45 seconds on this, move on to the next question, do you want to ask them about it? And just constantly like that, and you've got to be engaged in the thing.
And you can hear the director, obviously, who's not talking necessarily directly to you, might be talking to the PA or might be talking to the vision mixer, especially, you know, on live sport when there's different shots kind of coming in. And then you've got the producer who might not have heard your previous answer, and then, you know, decides to come back in and says, oh, have you asked about, and you've already asked that. So you kind of go like that to the camera. You know, I have been known to get caught, cut up going, it is a lot's going on in there. Only once in almost 30 years of live TV have I accidentally answered the producer on air.
Really?
And it was a footballer who will remain nameless, who was sweating. He was so nervous. It was on a live show that was kind of a magazine-y style show. And he was so monosyllabic. And the producer said to me, oh my God, this is like watching paint dry. And I said, I know. And he went, what? I didn't know where to go with it, because obviously I just on live TV just said, I know, randomly. And I just like, I know exactly what you're saying. and he looked at me like, what are you talking about? You don't know. And then we just moved it on. But the producer was laughing his head off. This is the other thing. When you work with people for a long time, I've had a producer that you did the athletics with for years and years, and you have such good relationship that it's almost like he's having a laugh with you about something, you know, and you have to kind of keep focused and, you know, but it makes the job obviously enjoyable when you work with people who know you really well. But sometimes you've got to go, I am presenting a live show here, you know. But I hate it when that, you know, where they have open and closed talkback, they call it. I always have open. If for some reason talkback wasn't working, I'd feel all alone. I'd feel I wouldn't like it. I'd like hearing them and hearing the noise.
I mean, I've got people in my ear while I'm hosting, but I'm not doing it live. And so I just think it's easier. You know, you sort of...
Well, if there's a problem coming, my job on live TV is to try and head it off. So if I hear that they haven't got that VT, something's happened to it, we're not going to go there, then this chat's going to have to keep going on. So rather than close the questions down, I'll just keep it going and we'll do, you know, so or we're waiting for a guest, you know, with footballer, Arne Slot's coming, he's coming. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, he's coming. You know, so you've got to keep the chat going before you link to him and, you know, all that stuff.
It's kind of impossible to me. I don't know how the hell you do it. I genuinely don't know how the hell you do that.
I think, although all my colleagues that, you know, I work with who love doing live sport, I think we've all got that there's a slight element of being, I would say, I'm not an adrenaline junkie by any stretch, but I think there's that element of danger that we all kind of like about it, you know.
Does it mean that, like, when you have one-to-one conversations, there isn't a voice in your head, it's quite boring?
Well, this is what my husband says, that I just listen constantly to other people's conversations while I'm talking to him. I'm like, speed it up. I'm just listening into this one over here. And this is, you know, going on over there. And the kids are always like, Mum, I said, but did you hear what she just... She's leaving her husband on the next table.
Well, speaking of mums, we've actually got, and you know her.
Is your mum here?
No, she's not here. We've actually got a voice note question from her.
Oh.
So let's see what it's. It's so far it's been a mixed bag.
Okay, so you don't know what's coming.
No.
Hi, Gabby. I loved meeting you and your daughter in Parents' Evening. I think the presenting you do is fantastic. I understand who is the nicest or most handsome footballer you have interviewed. I'm a fan of Jamie Redknapp. He's so handsome. Bye, darling.
I think she wants me to say Jamie Redknapp.
I think she feels like she does.
She's kind of put that answer out there. I mean, Jamie is obviously very handsome and aging beautifully, isn't he?
He really is. Yeah, well done to him.
Yeah.
So do you
they all look so young now.
Yeah.
I've been doing this so long. I look and go, I not only could be your mum, I could just about be your grandmother if I'd started very young.
When my sons found out that I was older than Mikel Arteta, they looked at me like I was from ye olde days or something. Like they just couldn't fathom. Not only are you older than the players, you're older than the manager. Like, how can it be?
Well, I know you've said that. You know, Fabian Hertzler, who's the Brighton manager.
Yeah.
I think he's about 34, isn't he? So if I'd had him when I was 18, he could be my son. Imagine that. And now we're just going to go over to the Amex where my son's waiting to talk to us.
Do you? I take it like, obviously you're a football fan, but then have you got over? Because for me, one of the things is that I get a bit nervous because you watch, particularly when I talk to footballers who were playing when I was younger. They're set in stone in my memories of like such incredible days watching them, you know, tear it up or whatever. I still couldn't ever speak to Thierry Henry, I don't think, without...
Thierry is one of the, I'd say, a handful. I've worked with him quite a lot. You do, you know, he's such an amazing guy. He talks nonstop. When you're in the Winnebago in the car park before you go to the ground, he's asking everybody everything. And he doesn't just do a quick conversation. You know, he gets really deep into things and he is just like a true superstar, you know, when you work with him. It's got an aura.
Yeah, but that's the reason I sort of don't want to. I feel like it's better that he doesn't...
Come on.
that he doesn't know me rather. You know what I mean? Because then you get like... I don't want him to, you know, it'd just be so embarrassing. But do you? I guess you'll pass. You know, you're not having those experiences meeting footballers.
I suppose not really. Although, if, for example, we managed to get, say, Ronaldo or Messi to pop into the studio and do, you know, a prime Champions League night, I think everybody would be so excited, you know, and it must be those people, think about it, well, their world must be so weird because everybody is so excited to meet them.
I know,
all the time.
What must it be like to be that one, like that person, you know, just coming, like, I remember like, I remember I used to do a show with Frank Lampard, Play to the Whistle, and one day somebody said, "Oh, Frank, can I have a chat? Can I get a photo?" And he went over there, and he was gone for like ages, and he came back and he said, "I just discussed my entire Chelsea career." The guy was like so excited because they feel like they want to tell you everything, right?
Yeah.
And so imagine getting that. I mean, getting that all the time must be ridiculous.
Yeah, I think the way they behave, I've worked with Wayne Rooney quite a bit over the last year, and on tour, if you like, being at stadiums, not just in the studio, where real people are coming up to him, and he handles people so well, And we were at Arsenal, he was doing a game there, and he was getting such abuse being shouted at him from the Arsenal fans. I mean, some of it was quite funny, but he took it so brilliantly. And then on the flip side, when people come up to him and they've got a handful of shirts they want signing, and he's got time for people, and I just think they are public kind of property when they're out there. So especially the big names, and I think it's really to their credit. Do
you not think footballers now should just be allowed to say something back to fans? And
what you mean when he's getting that kind of?
When people are getting abuse, right? When footballers are getting abuse, and they have to remain professional and not say anything back, and if they do say something back, it's like considered really bad. I just think let's have an amnesty, or have a weekend like the Purge, where footballers are allowed to just go, "Why don't you go fuck yourself, mate?" Do you know what I mean? It feels like so insane to be abused. You're at work, right? And you're doing your job, and somebody's just screaming at you.
And you see, you see it, don't you, on Match of the Day or on a live match, when you see people, their faces like about to burst. They're so angry and so incensed by, I don't know, a mispass.
Yeah. And there's so many times you'll see. I feel really sorry for you, because as you said, they're so young. I feel so sorry when a player has a bad game, and you go onto Instagram, and they'll say something really sweet, like there'll be a photo of them looking a bit dejected, and it will say, "Not the result we hoped for, we go again," or something like that, right? Something that somebody's put together for them or whatever. And then the first comment would be, "Get the fuck out my club, you scum." And you just go, what's going on, man? Yeah. And it's like, it's a 21-year-old kid and probably a 48-year-old man, just sort of like, it's so wild, isn't it?
It is. And it's a serious issue, actually, which has been kind of, I think, highlighted this week. There was a story on just last night in the news about that, and how it can really affect players. And their a willingness to then kind of partake in social media, which everybody expects you to be available all the time for them. And if I was a young player, I'm not sure I'd want to be in that area.
No, and also the way you get jumped on. I was talking, it's actually on League of Their Own. One of the footballers who was on, I can't remember his name now. I can't remember which one it was actually. It was saying that after his team lost a match, he had to be careful about how happy he looked in public, right? So he went, I think it's like his family came over, and then he went for a meal, and then he was nervous about being seen laughing the day after a bad result, because then it'd be like, this guy doesn't care about the club. It's so mad.
People's emotional ties with their clubs are so all encompassing, so important, and that's what makes football great. On the one hand, it's that kind of community and that spirit and that tribalism, but also I think it's a product of our age, isn't it? That people just are very kind of angry and wanting to be divisive in so many ways.
But fortunately, just generally, it feels like everyone's pretty chilled out, So I think we're okay.
Everybody,
it's like it feels like we're in
society.
We feel like we're in a really good space right now, and I, for one, I've never felt more positive about the future.
It's even got into golf, isn't it, as well?
Oh yeah,
Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
Would you say McIlroy, was that the right thing? Because he did fight back, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Well, I personally, I liked it. Tell them to go
Well, I think he was fighting fire with fire, wasn't he? I mean, we could all hear what was going on. So I just think, I've always admired the way he handles himself, and the way he handles his passion for the Ryder Cup as well, and also the fact that I know there was something about this, that the fact that Europe weren't being paid and America were, made it even better. That they were absolutely smashing them on day one.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Why was that?
First time ever that they've paid Ryder Cup team. Yeah. And
why did that happen? Why did they?
The Americans decided they wanted to.
Don't make any eye contact with me. Gabby's in the room.
Yeah, so Europe
come
said
to me.
no. We don't get paid. This is a kind of but America were getting paid because they don't make enough golfers. So
that's crazy.
I mean, it's the only sport that literally measures its success on money, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, which is so, it's so un-English, isn't it, to kind of talk about money like that? But it's so weird that you go, he's had a great year. He's made 45 million.
yeah, because it's directly related.
Yeah.
So, makes sense. We've got a game here for you.
Oh, okay.
It's called Misquoted.
Okay.
It's misquoted. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quotes. Some of them are made up, some of them are true.
Okay. Oh,
Let's
I'm
see
cringing
how
already.
much you remember what you said or not. Give me some time. This is the first one, sorry. I should go.
Okay.
This is not me speaking. Now.
Yeah.
This is potentially, maybe,
Me.
you. Give me some time to exercise and a coffee, and I'll do anything for you for 18 hours.
That's true. Shall I tell you what the context was?
Please.
No,
I'd love it. No.
don't. Why ruin a good quote? So I was talking about when we're away doing things like World Cups and the work is relentless. And you can have these super long days, but I always think if I've got an hour in the morning to do a bit of exercise, have a coffee,
Yeah.
I can do, an 18-hour day.
18 hours, yeah. But that's not, because when I read the quote, feels like that is the cutoff. Like what you're saying is...
19.
Yeah, 18 hours and 1 minute, forget it.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Extra time, I'm going.
Yeah. Okay, well done. You got that right. Here's the next one. I'm the Mary Berry of sports broadcasting. I've got lots going on at the moment, so there are no plans to slow down.
I don't think so. I don't know. Did I?
Daily Mirror 2025. So that's this year. He said that in an interview, apparently.
This year. I feel like I might have said, because I know Mary,
Yeah.
and I feel like I might have said, I'd love to be the Mary Berry of sport, that you could still be going at 90.
Oh, so you misquoted, literally.
Well, it's not a bad quote, is it?
Yeah.
It's not terrible. I'm not saying I want to take Mary Berry down.
No. But I will.
I want to be the new
actually-
queen of cakes.
Yeah. I will say that, though. I want to take Mary Berry down. Put that in the trailer.
Oh, no, this,
Yeah.
Mary, if this gets misquoted somewhere, I
Well,
love
it's only
Mary.
me.
And, but Mary, if this gets picked up and Mary reads, Gabby Logan wants to take Mary Berry down.
Ramesh backs her up. You can't take both of us, Mary. So do you not have any plans to slow down then? What's your kind of...
I don't know. Sometimes I think I should. And then other times I think, well, I'm loving what I do and I've got the energy to do it. And my kids are 20 now. So I don't have that daily, it's 3 o'clock or it's that internal body clock that you think you should be cooking. Like last night, Kenny's away at the moment. And last night I was cooking for myself, which is so soul destroying. It's really kind of like, I didn't, this is what they talked about when they said empty nest, So, I'll just work instead. It's better to just keep working. And obviously I've got friends and,
Yeah, no,
social
of
life.
course you. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you've got a rich and busy social calendar. Did it sound lonely? Yeah. But only if you assume...
I chose to be on my own. I was thinking that last night. When I was walking upstairs thinking, there was a time when your kids are little and you're busy with work where you think, just to have an evening on my own. And actually, it's not all it's cracked up to
Do you know what the problem is? Is I think films have got a part to play in that because...
Well, I should watch more.
Yeah. Just, Gabby, just occupy yourself. That sounded really tragic. No, but when you watch anybody having a night in on their own in a film, they're having a great time.
Well, they're usually in a bubble bath.
Yeah, they're playing music, they're dancing around the house. Do you know what I mean? They're jumping on the bed and all that shit. When actually... it's just eating a pot noodle in your underwear. You haven't even bothered to turn the lights on. Some of it falls onto your chest and you think, do you know what, I'll leave that for later. Yeah,
there's a bit of me lately been thinking, we should take some some kids who kind of maybe they left school and they want to do some work in London and we live in it. Maybe we should get them into the spare room. We should have kind of, some young
like a sweatshop
people.
making sports drinks. Yeah. Make some football kits.
See, when my kids come back, they're like, who's in my bedroom? I don't know, but they've sewed 38 nets today, so just leave them.
It's the thing about cooking for yourself. It's you sort of think I'm going to make something really nice, but then because you're on your own and you're not talking to anybody, it takes you about 3.5 minutes to eat it, right? So it feels like the ratio of prep time to actually enjoying it is so off.
Yeah.
Sometimes, if I'm cooking for myself, at least I'll come home and go, she's been out with her mates. She goes, what did you eat today? And I just go 12 sausage rolls because I can't be asked to do like a full meal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, here's your next one. You've done very well. No, you didn't do well.
No, I didn't do well on that one.
No,
I recognised it slightly, but I didn't think it was
You got nervous because you thought you were throwing shade at Mary Berry. That's what happened.
Yeah, which I would never do.
I've been conducting myself on social media while working at the BBC for nearly 2 decades. No fucks given then, no fucks given now.
The first part of that quote is true.
Right.
The second bit, not so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're right. The real quote is, I've been conducting myself on social media while working at the BBC for nearly 2 decades, so it doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
So there you go.
You can imagine when we took over the role, we got asked a lot of questions about social media and how we were going to be, behave. And if anything, in the last year, I'd say I've hardly done anything on X at all. And I because it became such a battleground, the most anodyne, pathetic beige comment would turn into a war. You know? So I just felt Instagram felt like a healthier place to be.
Instagram's better. X is a toxic.
And you still find some people on Instagram who want to have a fight, but you just kind of go. I usually respond by trying to kind of calm them down slightly and go, well, actually, that's not what that was about.
Oh, do you respond?
Occasionally. Michael Johnson told me years ago to not bother at all. He was in his very amazing accent said, "Why are you giving this guy who's got 4 followers energy and you're 500,000 followers? I don't know why you're doing." He was very kind of like, and I went, "You're right, actually. Why am I doing that?" Because it feels good. Put him up. But you kind of do sometimes want to just go, no, the reason is da 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 da, and try and explain. And then sometimes they come back and go, "Oh, thank you so much for getting back to me and explain," having been so angry with you in the first place. Which I feel, I always say to people, I started out in telly when you had to get a pen out, write a letter, put it in an envelope and post it to the BBC or ITV, wherever. People just didn't bother.
No.
They were, hadn't got time to do that.
Things are too easy now.
Yeah. Everything's too easy.
There should be more moments of reflection. I think things are too easy to buy. Like if you recommended me something now, like if you told me those are good, I could order them. They'd be on the way to my house before the end of this chat. It's unacceptable.
Yeah, it's too.
It should be harder.
Partners. I was going to call them boyfriends and girlfriends. But partners. It's you're just swiping, aren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm obviously it's well before my time when I was single. That wasn't around. But even that is. We were talking about this the other day about how young people meet. and that is so different, isn't it?
Well, this whole phenomenon now, because like when I met Lisa, I just thought this is not gonna happen again at this level of
quality.
Yeah, basically. And so I clung in and I dug in and I made myself just like a parasite, like a tick. I would say I'm Lisa's tick. But one of the phenomenon of social media, dating and stuff like that and apps, is that people are more disposable. People consider people to be more disposable. So it used to be you'd go for a date with someone, you go, that was sort of all right. I'll give it a second go. Whereas now, because you can access so many people, sometimes they'll make their mind up as they sit down and they go, this is done. Or they look at you through the window and just go.
Walk on by.
Just go, yeah. It's tough.
Yeah.
I couldn't, if I was younger than Mikel Arteta, as a bar, if I was social, if I was doing dating apps, I'd be out of the game. What photo do you put up? That's what I find.
Or I would always undersell and have them be thrilled when they actually met you.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
What I hear often happens is the other way around. So,
yeah. I wouldn't put any pictures. Do you know what I would do? I would do drawings of myself, and then I would say something like, "You want to see this in reality? Meet me." Do you have things that you? I mean, obviously you have things that you wouldn't talk about publicly, but do you find yourself sharing stuff that your family wish you hadn't?
They're usually pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
They're all right. And Ruben had his own experience of being caught out recently, actually, because he did an interview when he first arrived at Sale Sharks. That's where he's playing now. And he said something about me talking about my sex life and how he was kind of like in the changing rooms at Northampton Saints and somebody was playing the podcast out in the, it's me talking about why orgasms are good for you on the podcast.
Yeah.
And
was he playing it out as banter?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
No,
he didn't just happen to have it on as
a load of young
motivational thing.
A load of young
to get ourselves up for this
And so
game.
they did it obviously to wind him up. And he told this story to this journalist. They were laughing. But of course, then the clickbait headline was, "I wish my mum would stop talking." And so he screen grabbed it and put it on our family WhatsApp group and went, "My bad," because he then learned, obviously.
Oh, if
you say something like that, you might think you've explained it like this, but then somebody else is going to pick it up like this. And so, so actually, he's quite savvy and quite able to just see it as what it is, you know, which in the old days they'd say chip paper, wouldn't they? You know? And quite relaxed about it.
Oh, that's good. Here's your next one. You've been getting to grips with your penis pump on your own.
It's a slight misquote.
Is it?
It's a slight misquote. Yeah.
What was the actual quote?
Oh gosh. So this was to do with Kenny having prostate cancer.
Yes.
And maybe I did. Well, he basically had. They gave him in the hospital a penis pump.
Yeah.
And he said he'd leave me if I ever walked in when he was using the penis pump. He said, if you ever saw me doing this, I'm leaving. So I didn't say, you'll be doing that on your own.
Yeah.
It was more him saying, I'll be doing this on my own. He didn't think it was going to be the sexiest thing in the world.
No,
he'd like it to be known he didn't need it for too long.
Sure.
I didn't even know such a thing existed.
I didn't know either. I mean, you knew, didn't you?
What's the connection? Sorry, I don't understand. Is there?
So basically, when you have your prostate removed,
Yeah.
there is a risk of erectile functionality changing. And so obviously to help that improve, what the pump does is increase...
Do you regret that at all?
Increase the blood flow.
Yeah.
And then help, the process
Yeah.
happen. Not pre-sex, by the way.
No.
This is just practice.
It's like physio.
It's like practice. Yeah, it's like physio.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
So it's not like, hang on, wait 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Wait.
I am going to... Just wait a sec, because in about 3.5 to 4 minutes, I'm going to give you the time of your life.
So they're purely separate occasions.
Yeah, so these
The
are...
pumping and the intercourse are separate.
Yes, so it's like, it is physio.
Okay,
So,
got it.
it's getting yourself back in shape.
Yeah.
Which
And he
is-
didn't need it for very long. Let's
No.
be absolutely clear about that.
He was, he's the one that's spoken about this quite publicly.
Yeah.
He did an article in the Telegraph recently. It was, woof, I was reading it going, woof, you've not left much back
Yeah.
from that, Kenny. But he feels I think he's quite like a responsibility, because he knows that it helps the conversation, and that a lot of men don't want to go and get their PSA tested. They know that 50, is the age when prostate cancer obviously is more likely to occur post 50.
Yeah.
So I think he felt like, the fact that don't know if you know the story, he found it by accident, because I had Davina McCall on my podcast. She was talking about hormones. He said to me, well, what happens to in men's hormones? And he went actually for a hormone test because he wanted to see where his testosterone was, not see what his PSA was.
Yeah.
Didn't even know what prostate cancer was. So that's kind of, he felt a responsibility then to pay it forward, I think.
I think it's an amazing thing to do, because I feel like there's so many... You just don't talk about those things.
No.
You don't have an open chat about it. And then I think the what happens then, if somebody is going through something like that, they just feel so completely alone. And then I think if anybody with any kind of profile is talking about the experiences they've had and is able to destigmatize something like a penis pump or whatever. I mean, I know we've had a laugh about it, but to sort of say, to know that was my experience, and you can chat about it and it's fine, and da-da-da.
Yeah.
I just think it's
I've got
an
a huge
amazing thing
admiration
to
for him
to do.
doing that, and talking about it, being so candid. And I think he felt, coming as an ex-rugby player, kind of, a tough-looking professional, all that kind of thing as well. He felt there was an extra dimension there as well, that, if you're a sports person, it's that you've got to be kind of totally, indomitable, and, nothing can fell you because you're a strong athlete. And actually, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. No, it's a great thing. Okay, here's your last one. Good luck to you. I was told I was too competitive for a woman, which is completely untrue, and luckily I won the argument.
Half of that's true.
Yeah, well done. That's right. Half of it's true.
The first bit is true.
The first bit's true.
The comedy ending, luckily I won the argument. Nice.
Yeah, it's a good little punchline, isn't it? I was told I was being too competitive, whereas I was thinking that was good. That's what I did in sport, and it worked.
Yeah, referring to Strictly, I think.
Did you get negative?
Yes.
From audience members.
At the time, social media wasn't really a thing. It was more chat rooms, which I didn't venture into, but a few of my friends did and told me.
Oh, that's nice of them.
Yeah, and I didn't even think I'd looked disappointed at my scores, but apparently I had a face like thunder, and I looked disappointed. But I think I was more disappointed that they didn't enjoy it, or something. And so I was kind of going,
Yeah.
It was less of a pantomime kind of thing then as well, the show. I mean, I love, it was a great experience. I absolutely loved it. But I was very much like, I want to do as well as I can. I want to be in this. Because once you start to learn something with somebody who's a world best at it, it's such an amazing experience to learn anything. Like, say tomorrow, you had Bukayo Saka rang you up and said, look, I really want to teach you how to cross a ball better.
I'd love that.
Of course you would. He is one of the best at it.
Yeah.
So that's what it was like learning to dance, really, on that show. You're with these amazing people and you just want to keep going.
Well, it feels like when you go on Strictly, everything is under a lot more scrutiny while you're on that show.
Oh, yeah.
Did you feel that?
Yeah. I mean, there was a story one week, which I was in the Daily Mirror, which was about how I'd stormed off after the show and didn't go to the bar. Or my 80-something, I can't remember what she was at the time, granny was there. And she couldn't make it up the steps. It was the old BBC to the top. So we just had drinks in my dressing room instead. That's what happened. You know?
Yeah.
And I had like Kelly Brook in there and Penny Lancaster. It wasn't like it was just me on my own. There were loads of us in there, but somehow there's kind of leaks in the show and that kind of, oh, she's not in the bar. She's upset, And I remember reading that story and feeling heartbroken because somebody had twisted the narrative, but also it was painting me in this kind of, very grumpy, wanting all out to win this show type light, which I didn't recognise. Meanwhile, my husband's, floating along through to week 10, getting a totally different press. It taught me a lot, that whole experience. I wrote about it in my book because it was a real life lesson for me, because I just previously been this person that you work hard, you get on, and then this was showbiz. This was an entertainment show, so you have to kind of play the game a little bit. And with hindsight, of course, there is an element of performance and pantomime in the judging process and everything, isn't there? And they want to get a reaction out of you. But if your natural instinct is to go, oh, you like me. And I saw that a bit with Karen Carney on her second week because I was looking out for her.
Yeah.
She looked a bit like, oh. And that's, I think, a sports person's thing. We're really good at taking critique, actually, and then changing, what we do, because it's what you've done as, your whole life. That's why I love working with a lot of the pundits I work with. They're so good at saying, how can I be better? But yeah, it was a life lesson, I think, in lots of ways that I'm glad I went through.
Do you think sports people are just built different like that? Because when we do League of Their Own, with sports people, when we do challenges, I'm just not competitive at all, and that's because I'm crap at everything, and so I've trained myself to not be competitive. Whereas like Meeks and Jamie and Jill Scott are like they have to win. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a chicken wing eating competition, and they have to win. It's a different wiring, right?
Yeah, it is. And living in a household, like growing up, my dad was a footballer, married to an ex-rugby player, son who plays rugby, my daughter's really competitive. You realise not every, when you get guests, like the kids' friends come around, you realise, not every household is quite like this.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go out in the garden and play rounders. And like at the end of it, there's like a World War III breaks out and kind of the rules are being disseminated. And the other kids going, oh, I'm just going to get my mum to pick me up now. So, no, stay. You stay there. We are not done.
Does this look over to you? Are we done? Are we inside? Having a post-game drink? No, I don't think so. Get the pads back on, idiot.
But then Kenny's always been very much like, you've got to take them on, like him and Ruben wrestling when he was about 15, and Kenny was, I know, that whole silverback thing. I don't know if you do that with your boys. Do you wrestle?
They've started to. I mean, the youngest one's 11 now, so they can all beat me.
Oh, right.
No, we do.
But that wrestling thing, it's a real thing, isn't it? Where the dad's strength starts to be overtaken by the son's.
My dad struggled with that. So
it's not being the
he just really I really feel like there was an envy from him, because like my dad was a bit of we talked about it on your podcast. My dad was a bit of a player, and I think a lot of his self-worth was in kind of him being attractive and him being strong and him being like
and when you started overtaking
him. I mean, it took a while, to be honest with you. Look at me, but even when it was like us sort of starting to go out with to go out with girls and stuff, he's sort of like, oh my god,
with them.
Yeah. Oh, it's horrible. Hello. Anyway, can't take it any further. Got quite unpleasant. But but I think that my dad really struggled with it. And now with the boys, it doesn't matter how much the idea of what it is to be masculine has moved on. There's still, I think there's always going to be an element of that. Do you know what I mean?
No, totally.
Just the boy. My eldest son is absolutely he's he's working out now in a way that I just wasn't at his age. He's like more conscious of his physique, and he does a lot of dance and stuff like that. So he's just, and then every now and again he'll sort of say something along the lines of, "I think I could take you now."
and you think maybe you could actually, maybe you could.
Definitely could.
Yeah, well, I don't think definitely. I mean, what I would say is like Charlie is a young. No, Theo. I'm talking about the 16-year-old. The difference is,
He's about the 11-year-old.
Yeah, he's talking about the 11-year-old. But I grew up on a council estate. Theo grew up in my house. Right? He's very spoiled. He's had a soft upbringing. He doesn't know how I roll. In Broadfield Crawley, we fight dirty. There's gouging. Do you know what I mean?
Whose rules are we playing
none
by?
of this. Like he's on the other side of Crawley now. He's lived a different life. Now, is it true? Is this true that you once wanted to be a comedian?
I did stand up for Comic Relief. It was called Let's Stand Up for Comic Relief, and the premise of the show was 5 celebs. It was Sport Relief, sorry. 5 sporting celebs had 5 different comedians as their mentor. Paddy Kilty was my mentor. And then, the Bloomsbury Theatre?
Yeah.
It's about 500 people, I think. And
great
you had
venue.
to do stand-up there. And I did it. Paddy was brilliant with me and did it. And I won. It was an audience vote. And it was Tyson Fury was one of the other comedians. And who else was there? There was Razor Ruddock and Michael Vaughan. Who the other one? Anyway, 4 other guys.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it. And I went.
How did the gig? Like, did you smash the gig?
I really did, because what I did was
Did you do the Indian accent that you were doing before you came on this?
different times. We'd rehearsed in this little pub in Kingston that apparently a lot of famous comedians had been
Fighting
to.
Cocks?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we went there, and Paddy's point there was that if you could make 25 people there laugh, then you're going to make, which is a venue of say 40, you're going to make 3/4 of a big theatre laugh. Anyway, when we did it there, I, for some reason, decided to Irish dance onto the stage, and he was in hysterics, and he went, "You've got to do that. You just got to do that," because immediately the audience.
That's what you did in that pub?
Yeah.
Gabby, I'm not being. That pub is like quite an intimidating place to
Oh no,
gig.
there was no audience in there that night.
Oh God.
It was an empty space.
Okay, Jesus. I was going to say that is holy shit. Anyway,
So he said, "Oh my God, you should do that on the night. Just Irish dance onto stage."
Yeah.
Because people will just not. They'll throw them off guard. They won't know what you're doing, and then have no reference to it whatsoever, right? So I was like, "Okay."
That's funny.
And I was wearing like 4-inch Yves Saint Laurent like shoe boot things as well, which didn't lend themselves to Irish dancing. And then once I kind of got that first laugh, I was just like, "Oh my God, I love this." And I was like ad-libbing my, I loved it, and went home that night, couldn't sleep because I was thinking, right, we could sell the house, downsize so that I don't have the biggest mortgage, because it's going to take me a few years really to get up to the big venues. I'm literally in bed working out how I can redo my whole
become
career.
a stand-up?
Yeah, I was like, and material was coming out my ears, and I was lying in bed like this, and then I woke up in the morning and went, reality. It's like the kids needed to go to school, and I was like, and I just loved it. And I had another chance to do something for a different charity thing, and each time I totally get what takes you back every time, you know, because even if it hadn't gone as well, there is something. I've never been so nervous, obviously, because you're so out of your comfort zone. But what really made me happy but comforted me, was seeing the comedians who also had to do stand up on the night, how nervous they were backstage, even though they were all household names. It was Jason Manford and John Richardson, was he on it? I don't know. There was a load of comedians that you would know, and Paddy was doing my stuff, and they were all like still as nervous, even after all these years.
Well, I think there's something really. I think one of the reasons stand-up's so addictive is no matter how good you get at it, you can really come unstuck. And that, you can have a terrible gig at whatever stage, or it can just go against you. You can make one judgment in the moment. You might riff something that you lose the crowd. Yeah. That makes it incredibly addictive. Would you ever do it again? Would you do it again?
Oh, definitely, because for charity, yeah. Oh, definitely, because I think the challenge of writing as well, being involved in that process, I really enjoyed. And you probably worked with Phil Kerr.
Yes.
Yeah, he was the writer that I worked with. Right. And I still use him occasionally for, help me to do speeches for things that, and he was great. But also, I really love watching comedy, and get, it's so different, isn't it? The landscape actually in comedy is massively different. So even then, I think there's no surprise really that I was the only woman that even volunteered to do this, because I think it was it's a different place for women now, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, it is. It's
women are allowed to be funny.
Yeah, I mean, if you talk to Jo Brand about
I have done,
what it was like for her on the circuit when she first started.
It's amazing she went on.
Even when, it really is. Like the stuff that was said to her by audience members, other comics or whatever, it is the fact that she decided to carry on doing it, I find absolutely incredible. And she's unbelievably funny. So I'm so.
Remember A League of Their Own? Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, I do remember it. Yeah, it got cancelled. Thanks for bringing it up. Do you want to talk about It's Not Rocket Science as well?
Do you remember They Think It's All Over?
Yes, I do. Yeah,
I was on there very early on in my career, and in the writing room beforehand, I was really nervous. Jonathan Ross was one of the team captains, and obviously Gary was on the show, and she was on the show, and she was so generous, and I was actually quite scared of her because I'd seen her TV persona, but she was unbelievably kind and generous and encouraging, and giving me, she said, "You have this gag, this is really good, you'll like this one," and just made me feel so at ease, in that environment. And you can see that's obviously somebody who's been through like the real trailblazers.
So I feel like you could do a tour, couldn't you? Like you've got enough like if you suddenly decided, if you just decided to do Gabby Logan on the road,
I don't know. Would there be enough people want to come and see that? I don't think so.
100% there would.
So. I'm not sure I'm prepared to test that.
I reckon. I think you should. I would do it if I was you.
Would you?
If you're trying to scratch the itch. If you don't want to do like a whole stand-up thing, you could do like a bit of a Q&A about your career and your life, and then do a bit of stand-up, or open with a bit. Honestly, I actually think you're talking about how exciting you find it. It feels so near to the realms of possibility that you would do it. To me. Do you know what I mean?
It's something that Kenny has always said he would love, because I think he wants to be my tour manager.
Yeah.
And he said, we'd have so much, because he goes, we could do these tiny theatres in the Outer Hebrides. I'm like, haven't got much hope for me. He's like, but he's like, we could go all over the country, and we could and it does sound like something.
You should do it. You could
like a midlife crisis.
Yeah, you could go to like smaller rooms and like work up the act, and then you and Kenny could have a great time. You're just travelling around doing all, and then boom, you're ready with the show.
Sounds like a great idea.
I think you should do it.
Okay, I'll start working on it.
Really?
I'll start writing. Yeah.
There you go. There's our exclusive. Come on.
It's got to be easier than learning the piano, which is the thing I keep telling myself I'm going to do.
It's easier than learning the piano.
In an interview, people are always going, they'll go, "What kind of thing would you like to challenge yourself with in midlife?" And I go, "I am going to learn the piano. I am going to learn the piano." And then I don't learn the piano.
Now, normally what we do is we ask our guests to give us like some sort of viral thing or something they've not said before. I think we've got it. I think those things. I think those things are compatible.
I did have something for you.
Oh, do you? Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
For you,
Go
on. Which I've not said anywhere else yet.
Are you being serious?
Quite exciting.
Are you being serious right now?
Do you know what Ted Lasso is?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a new series.
Yes,
coming.
I do. Yeah.
So in episodes 3 and 4, I am the new comms director of Richmond FC, and I'm pushing to have more input from the women's side of the game at the club. Yeah.
That is oh my God, what an exclusive. That's so good. Oh my God. What? And do you know?
That's not true.
Oh. For fuck's sake, no one is a...
Nobody does a true one. Is it not true?
No, well, I didn't think you'd react so.
We had the same thing with Jack. Well, I didn't realise his one wasn't true either. He told us he got off his tits at a festival with Mary Berry, and
can we stop taking her name in vain?
Sorry, but that's what he said. That was the story he said. He's like, I can't remember what they said. They ended up in a K-hole together. And I was like, oh my God. I was looking around, and Jack just sat there like you did. And it's not. Obviously, it's not true. I was told I was allowed to make it
I'm
up.
a bit annoyed. I do like Ted Lasso, and I have been quite annoyed from the very start that I haven't had a cameo.
You should have a cameo.
I think Rebecca Lowe's had one, Gary's had one.
Yeah.
I think Gary had one. Every time I'm like, And they also told me that I used to live in a house in Chiswick, and he stayed in my old house. He was renting my old house in Chiswick. I didn't own it anymore, obviously.
Yeah.
And I go to Richmond all the time to get my hair done, and Richmond has become Ted Lasso Alley. There's an alleyway that has got the Ted Lasso shop, people, American tourists just hang out there. I feel so close to it. I'm on the precipice of a phone call coming in anytime soon. I would.
Maybe this could make it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really good mates with Brett Goldstein, who writes on it.
Does he write on it as well?
Yeah, Brett. Yeah, Roy.
Yeah. I met him.
Cookie Monster.
Yeah, it wasn't.
He doesn't talk like that in real life, does he?
No, he doesn't.
Am I doing it right?
Yeah, he does talk like that. Yeah.
No.
John Terry in it with a bit.
Yeah, because
He's a great character.
no, you got to get on the ball.
Is that right? I
Yeah,
feel like I'm not
yeah.
quite getting
Slightly
it.
less gravelly.
Yeah. You've hurt your voice now.
Anyway,
Well, it's a very it's a very lovely show. So I would love.
okay.
To
This is exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Brett, please, can you get Gabby onto Ted Lasso? Please.
Maybe mention the fact she's got the hairdresser in Richmond.
She's got the
Yeah.
hairdresser in Richmond.
Yeah.
She loves the show. Do you love the show?
Yes.
Yeah. She loves the show.
Convenient for her.
It's convenient for her.
Doesn't
But she
even
could do it whilst.
Yeah,
Don't
you
even
don't
have
even have to organise a car.
No,
She just
I'll drive
time it
myself.
for when
Or
she's
hair
getting her next hair appointment.
Hair and makeup done.
Yeah, please,
Yeah.
Brett, do it, man.
My own wardrobe and everything.
Yeah, she'll wear her own stuff. Yeah, and if you wanted to do a tight 10 minutes of stand up to warm everyone up, she'd do that as well. Gabby, you have been a fantastic guest. Please give it up for Gabby Logan, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for watching and listening to this episode. Before you go, if you've enjoyed this episode and you've not subscribed, that's a bold decision. Crazy behaviour. Follow and subscribe to the Romesh Ranganathan Show wherever you listen. It helps me, really helps me. It helps the team. And it costs you absolutely nothing. We drop episodes every Monday and Thursday. Mondays I'm joined by great guests. Thursdays my mum Shanthi joins me to answer your questions and family dilemmas. I'll see you Thursday with mum who, let's face it, is who you're actually here for. If you've got a problem you want to solve or a story you want to share, send it to podcast@rangabee.com, voice note or text us on 07731 623 355. We can't promise good advice, but you might end up on the show. See you soon.
Oh, shut up, Romesh.